Hi there, this is Popo, I hope you'll fine. Welcome back to a new video of matches, where we're going to cover an interesting game of matches that has been played very recently on the matches Discord server between two other members. As white we have Praseodymium Spike with the Scarabs, as black we have Danielovski with the Tengus. Actually, the matchup Scarabs Tengus is pretty interesting because these two factions are obscure factions that are not really easy to play with, and this would allow me to give you some tips and highlights about this game and how mostly you should or should not play this faction. So let's cover immediately the game and see how it goes. The game starts with pawn to d4, with pawn to d5, pawn to c4, the queen's gambit, which is accepted with pawn captures. We have pawn to e3, the old variation, crow to f6, stack captures. We have rook to f5, rook to f3, pawn to e6, castle kingside, rook to d6, and pawn to a5. And a4, excuse me. And this is as move 7 that we have a completely new game, because everything was pure chess theory. And that's a problem, because technically you're not playing chess but mat chess, and when you play this kind of game you try to make the best move out of your faction, and feels like something doesn't rely really with the faction spirit. So let's go back to the beginning and see how it's not that good. I wouldn't say it's wrong, but something can be done betterly, I guess. So let's go. Pawn d4, pawn d5. The queen's gambit declaring old variation is not that bad. I see the idea here. Maybe on the modern variation you will play with e4, but anyways. Crow to f6 is okay, captures is okay. This rook to f5 move looks a little suspicious for me. Why? Because with the rook, you want to play very aggressively, relying on the fact that both of your rook type units of your opponent don't have move for now. So you try to get these spots somehow, or this kind of spots, playing against the pawn structure somehow. And here, for me, this is passive, because you don't play against anything here. You're just controlling a diagonal, of course. But yeah, maybe what I would play here is a waiting move. Maybe you can play crow to c6. With the idea is that at some time your opponent would play the rook to f3, and then you would be able to play rook to g4. And now your opponent is pretty screwed, because this is pinned and you can't attack with a pawn, else you're going to lose your rook. So here that would be interesting. I can also understand the fact that you want to push this to open the pawn and then put the other hook on the game. Okay, maybe you could go for something more passive, I guess. For example, let's say there's this. Maybe the opponent sees how it goes and doesn't want to open. Maybe you do this, and somehow the opponent starts to freak a little, because it takes some time, and somehow he really has to play this move, or even to e2, and then this happens. I don't know. Another way of playing that is that you can directly decide to go very aggressively with rook to g4. And then the best move here is maybe put the rhino here, or even putting this back. But no problem, then you go back and you force your opponent to go for a not so cool diagonal. So yeah, this is a way to play, quite equal to the rest, but you don't have this attack here. So I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with this rook to f5 move, but this is not that bad also. So rook to f3, okay, pawn to e6, castles, rook to d6, yeah, a little passive also, maybe you would develop that here, but because there's no such kind of activity against the dark square, that can be understandable. And now maybe you want to play against the structure here, with something like go here, go here, go here. Maybe you want to do this with the Tengus, and rely on the fact that the pawn can't take. We have pawn to a4. So here this move was very surprising. I didn't see the idea here. And when after castle I saw that it was to play dunk to a2. Ugh. That is very ugly looking move. What's the problem? First, it completely blunders a piece. Yeah, this is a free piece somehow. So yeah, not a good idea. And even if you want to slide dung here, you just block your own pawn that somehow wants to also shift on the front. And yeah, this looks very heavy. You want to maybe put that here, to put that here, or even this is here, like a very well placed crow, for example. If you play this and somehow this goes here, there could be a fork. Like, yeah, that doesn't seem to be so right. Maybe a way to play that would be, this is just my suggestion. Pawn to a3, crow goes here. Now you play pawn to b4. Maybe your opponent wants to play against this also. So maybe you play this move. Okay. Go here. Go here. Somehow. Castles. Go here. And if there's this kind of move with this, you can still decide to go down here. But yeah, that can be played. Maybe another way to place this castles. Maybe now you want to put this here, crow here, some idea. I don't know, go here. Then you directly, or maybe you wait, I don't know. Maybe you can go for something very aggressive here. Now you have this, go here, go here, and somehow at any point you can decide to shift that here. Maybe this is scary because of crow here. So maybe another way, a last way to play this, excuse me, I really take my time, would be this, go here, pawn here, go here, stack goes here, and now you go here. And if the crow decides to go here, you just are gonna capture this. And then you develop this as you wish. This here, I don't know. I feel like that the scarabs have a little more activity here. Let's see, let's say this, and then maybe this. But here that would be taken because there's nothing left here. So yeah, I feel like with this kind of position, the scarab pieces have more activity, and even this is not doing a lot of things for that. That can come later, but I feel like you could go for all the activity you need for this kind of game. But this is just my suggestion. So after this, the fact that the piece is hanging is not seen somehow. So we have crow to c6, and now hug to d2. Okay. So crow to b4 attacks dung. So now you see that this dung is very bad placed. So the dung goes back to a3, maybe searching to slide here, but that doesn't seem quite evident. You can have some discover attack. You can even have this discover attack. So yeah. So we have rook to g4 here now, pinning. The only problem is that this is a little late to pin that because just h3 is a valid move. So you see that developing the crow here to put this here to be kicked to go here is not that interesting, and you lost the control of that, even if the pin is pretty powerful. We have rook to b3, so now this is even more blocking the dung, so the dung is, yeah, this is catastrophic. And now a simple crow to c6, and the dung is forced to go back to a2. Yeah. Very sad. It could go to a1. The problem is that you have a little less activity because of the hawks. So we have crow to e4 now, getting a very nice spot. So now it attacks a lot of spot later. We have a stack to d3, so getting some pressure here. But we have a nice counter, I have to say. This is a very nice tactic. We have crow to b4 here, and now this dung again is attacked. So you have to put it to b1 because the following move was to capture here on d3. And now this just cancels all the attacks. You can't take here because there will be take here. So you have to take with this there. And after this move, you put the cancel to f6 and everything is secure. And the Tengus start to have a decent position, I have to say. Even this is not the incredible position. At the contrary, The scarabs, this is very painful to see. This Urk is pinned. This Urk is not doing a lot of things. Maybe you could go here or here, but these are not incredible stats. Maybe here would be a little better. This stack doesn't do anything. This dung is stupid, and this rhino is not fully developed yet. So yeah, not a quite good position to follow the game. We have stack 2e2, which is a very elegant way of replacing the piece and stop the pin. So congrats. We have Oak to G6, which is played, so getting out of the diagonal because maybe there's a lot more stuff to do here. And now the rhino goes to B3 and tries to get active in the game. So the Oak decides to go back to H5. This Oak is a joke itself. This is very funny how he would go here, then here, then here, then here, then here. How much tempo do you lose by making this move? This is pretty sad. But okay, there's a pressure now again against the Oak because this is not defended. So maybe you have to slide the dung to E1, and maybe later on if a stag moves, then you can get this very nice move. But instead, dung to D1 is played. Pretty sad move, I have to say. So the pressure is very cool. But we have pawn to A5, which is played. Somehow maybe the dojo wants to develop this way. I don't know. Maybe. Cutting also the path of the pawn is a regular move. That can be understandable that this can be played later on. But for now, this is guarded by the Urk. So we have to wait a little. Urk to F4 is played. This Urk move is a very cool move because there is a threat there, and later on you can decide to play one of the dunks, and here that would threat the Kensei. This is why this Oak, which wasn't doing a lot of stuff, takes on F4. And after captures, you capture back with the Kensei. So this move looks like cool, but you lost the pawn somehow. But yeah, one of the Oaks is dead, so you don't have a lot of active pieces as Tengu in the game, and maybe a lot of activities gaining back for the Scarab. So sacrificing a pawn for the activity, maybe. We have dunk to C1, which is played, so getting the activity, and kicking at the same time, the Kensei. Maybe this move is not so cool, but this is very hard to play. Maybe a way to play even this is dangerous. After this would be to play that and kick the Oak and getting an escape route for your king later on. Even this opens slightly your castle, but you have a lot of pieces to defend, because after this the Oak can just captures, and after captures one of your tandems is dead, so you can just rely on the stag filling your dunks. So the Scarabs become a little weak, so sad for them. But anyways, this is the game. They have a little more activity now due to the recent position. Here with a crow and a Kensei you can't do a lot of stuff. So let's see how it goes. We have crow back to G5 threatening the stag, and we have done to E3 completely ignoring. So now replacing in a very cool way. With the Tengus maybe I would have exchanged, to be honest. So even this suppress some activity, one of the tandem would be dead, and then these dunks would be just regular rook by 4, so all the strength of the faction would have vanished suddenly. But instead we have Kensei to H4, okay. We have Rhino to B5, so very cool attacking way of B7 pawn, but you can just slide here. But somehow the Tengus wanted to get back some activities, so we have Dojo to D8, which is played. Maybe Dojo this way was a little better because you still want to get the control over this pawn. But okay, Dojo is played, and now we have captures, 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 and go here. You could decide to go for a capture here. Of course, this was a valid option also, and that would grant you a pass pawn. So a lot of pawns suddenly vanished, and we go to the endgame. So this is the most critical part. So if you analyze a bit now, the Deku don't have activity at all. They still have a check for, of course, but this is not enough. And this crow is doing nothing, and you have to trade this crow as soon as possible, really as soon as possible, because this stack here is pretty powerful to help the dung get better, and suddenly the rhino is trying to control this square and try to make the pass pawn. So the position seems better for the scarab somehow. And the scarab see that and then play stag to g4, so be sure that the stag is still on the game. And one of the moves you should have played here maybe is to counter back here with to f5 and make an escape route for the crow. Maybe. So this kind of move, go here, go here, go here, and now you try and run on the fact that you can have back some activity. Or maybe, wait a little. Wait. Actually, this is valid. This isn't something valid because. Wait, check. Go here takes. There's still tactic here. So even this is threatening, this is not that threatening. You see the line that are covered here, or even the small tactic later if there is a rule capture here. But yeah, you have to survive. But here we have a blunder here with Kensei to f6, which is awful, because now the crow is completely trapped. You have nothing to play. And even normally the crow can escape these attacks. All the square you can go for can be capture squares. So this is the end for him. So the Tengus try to counter with pawn to h5, but that doesn't work. But somehow it worked because we have stag captures. But this is a blunder. You just have to take the crow. This is a tempo under the Kensei. So the Kensei has to take, and then you even free to take on e6 because there's a tempo here and you don't have checks. So the Kensei has to move and then you put the stag out of the way. But yeah, this is a blunder here because we have stag captures h5, so I'm very surprised of this move. And we have crow back to h7, saving the stuff, and then there's a pawn which is attacked here. We have dunk to e5, which is again a blunder because it just blunders a pawn here, and the position is not that incredible for these two pieces. I can see the threat on the move before, because with this, okay, maybe by placing the stag somewhere else you threat to capture, but there's still that disengaging. A better move that could be played here would be dunk to f3. Attacks 3 times this spot, x-raying the Kensei. And this is a very difficult position to play. Let's try to cover some lines. If Kensei decides to capture, then you capture with the stag, check. You can't capture because else there's capture, go here, check. The crow is forced to defend, you capture, then you go here, and then you have the very nasty dunk to h3, and the game is over. So let's see another line. Maybe you can try to see this line and go here, maybe. What happens? If captures, there's just capture here. So that doesn't quite work, right? Okay, so let's see another line. With this move, you can decide to go here. But after captures, go here, you just go there. And now you have some pressure here. Maybe you can try to play this move to counter, but the problem is that after captures, maybe crow captures, then you capture. And somehow you're winning, you're up material. So not that easy to play. Let's cover our last line. If you go here, captures. Now maybe I can decide to go here, and let's suppose my opponent doesn't capture. What do you think of the move? Dunk to h5, hitting the Kensei. The Kensei goes here, trying to get something, but now we have captures, captures back, go here with a threat, but now the crow survives somehow, but not for long. But now the king tries to escape. Crow is threatened. Crow has to move. Maybe there. But now, maybe we can have this kind of moves. Check. Now, king's forced to go here. Then the stag would take a threat here, and there would be a check here. You see that now the scarabs would have the initiative here. But this is not seen. Instead, we have this dunk to e5 move. So Kensei captures, and now we have Reino captures. So now it relies on the fact that he has a pass pawn, so he wants to get for the promotion. Makes sense. We have a crow back to the game, so this ugly crow is again back to the game, and the scarabs are pretty annoyed with this. So they decide to put back the stag on f3. So this dunk is not doing a lot of stuff here actually. We have now crow slides on f5, so relying on the fact that it stays here. A pretty cool way of playing this. A funny way of going here would have been this move later on, but anyways, that is played. Rhino to c5 is played, but this is a blunder, actually, believe it or not. You're going to see why in a few moments. Playing here was better, because then you control the path here. We have Kensei to f4, which is played. So now I see that the activity of these two pieces are back. And now we have pawn to a5 trying to push. And now you're going to see why this move was a blunder. See, Kensei to c1, check. King to h2 is pretty forced, else you're going to go into this kind of line, and then you're forced to go up, and somehow you lose a pawn. And now, dojo to h7. Yeah, that's the problem. Because this dojo is threatened by the Reino, this means that he can jump around the king. So you gave activity to the Tengus. Never threat a Tengu piece unless you see that that everything is safe. That's the problem here. And you see that this crow has some activity because he can still jump here if he wants. So as crazy as it looks, you can have some ugly tactics of going here. So let's say you have this move, for example. I don't care of this, okay? Even this can be a mate. But you can have this move, which is very funny because it completely blocks the square here. So yeah, of course you have to defend against the mate threat because this is controlled, and this is controlled. So the right move to play is g3. This is not that easy to be played, but this is playable. So let's see, for example, some lines. Excuse me, my mouse slipped. Hello? Okay, excuse me. My mouse is bugging a little. So after g3, let's say that you decide to play the dojo to h6, then you just safely go here. And then somehow you're safe. Even the position looks terrifying against. Again, and now maybe this kind of tactic can happen. That could be funny to make it happen. Anyways, in this position, Praseodymium Spike decided to play a very, very bad move with pawn to g4. And this is a lesson, ladies and gentlemen. When you are in a bad position against the Tengu, do not threaten Tengu piece. Never, never, because you give them activity. This is the trade of the faction. Where this is threatened, this gets some activity. Because believe it or not, this is mine in 3. Yeah. So feel free to pause the video and find the killing blow for the Tengus, while I give you a couple of seconds. Okay, I hope you all get the solution, and thanks to Danielski for showing this very beautiful mate, which is dojo to h4 check, only one solution, king to g2 is forced. Then you slide the crow to f4 check again, king to g3 is forced, and then you slide now the dojo to h3, and this is mate. What a beautiful mate, isn't it? And this crow is protected by the Kensei. So Even I was very judging the game as the fact that some activity was missing somewhere. The end of the game is pretty cool. And this is, again, the beauty of matches. You can create stuff out of nowhere. What I would say as a critic, maybe, is that this game hasn't followed matches principles somehow. Because I see that this game has been played like a classic chess game somehow. And we have to wait a little on the journey of the game to get something that relies with matches. So somehow you just miss something. Well, I just talking to the two players, but the game was pretty decent though. But somehow you didn't play for the scarabs to maximize your activity with your scarab pieces. You tried to get some scarab stuff very early in the game, and then you don't get the right settings to develop all the activity and make some combos. And for the Tengu player, maybe you're not aggressive enough in the beginning of the game to make such a powerful stuff with the oaks. Even with the mid and end game, this was pretty cool. Even the blunders was very sad of the crow. So I hope you like the game. We're going to see each other next time for another game, and see you then. Also, if you want I to cover the Tengu faction or the Scarab faction to give some tips on how to play them, please ask in the comments and I'll do a video about that. Or if you have any requests for matches only and only matches, I can grant them. So see you then, bye.